Hello, my name is Daniel Fraser, and this is Yeetal. This was an individual project for a play design course at Sheridan College. This project was built in Unity and made use of Photoshop and Audacity. As the solo developer, I designed, programmed, and put together all the elements of the game with some use of free assets. For this project, I had the idea of creating a short parody of Portal to test puzzle/level creation concepts. The project's theme was Portal-like, with the game taking place in a bootleg science facility where instead of moving through space-bending portals, you are throwing objects to complete test chambers. As I was taking inspiration thematically from Portal, I wanted to retain some semblance of Portal's puzzle solving using the 3D physics engine of Unity. In addition, the development period of the project was relatively short, and I wanted to focus mainly on puzzle creation. The idea of having the player picking up and throwing objects to solve puzzles leveraged the physics engine easily due to its simplicity, and hence was concepted and prototyped for the game rather quickly. The game was to use 3 to 5 puzzles in a whole experience, so I set out to design a set of puzzles that would increase in difficulty over time and make use of teach, test, and challenge. We have puzzles that teach the signature mechanic, test it, and challenge it, with a bit of a small break/relapse to teach more about careful targeted throwing. We move from simple object placement to throwing at an area to throwing in tighter spots with obstacles in the way. By laying out the levels in this way, I was able to plot the flow of the game and switch levels around or make tweaks in the plan to adjust difficulty. Though there were only a handful of levels, it made planning this vertical slice easier and would aid me in creating more levels down the line should I continue to iterate on this prototype. Throughout the game, there is a narration, from myself, that both informs and, hopefully, entertains the player. This was partially a callback to Portal's GLaDOS, as well as a small assist for players who required more context to the puzzles presented in front of them. The hardest problem I solved was designing the levels to teach, test, and challenge the player in a very short amount of time. I had merely a few days to create the project, and the requirements of no more than 5 puzzles meant designing a tight experience that can properly introduce and make some engaging use of the signature mechanic. To aid in the engagement and teaching of the player, voiceover was introduced, which also took some time as captions had to be lined up to VO, which took extensive testing. 5 levels were created to quickly introduce the game's signature mechanic, test in a few places, and challenge its depth. With more time, I would have loved to introduce more creative uses for the signature mechanic, but I believe the pacing of the current prototype is good in its own right in teaching, testing, and challenging the player, given its short development time. The game, while being a prototype, is looped to create a complete experience. Although short, it succeeds in using Teach, Test, Challenge for its signature mechanic and was a fun exercise in level/puzzle design, something I want to improve in my skill set. It was also fun working with audio narration to add some fun polish to the game's experience. Hope you enjoyed this breakdown of Yeetal.